Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Talk Anime Podcast. This is episode 4, and before we talk about the topic, I want to introduce somebody because today we've actually brought on a guest. Now, I've mentioned him in the past as that guy who always spoils stuff from the manga because he always reads ahead every time there's a good show or seasonal. And here he is. This is Hammy.
Yo, guys. So yeah, I'm I'm gonna be kind of awkward because I haven't done like podcasts before. But yeah, I go by Hammy. I know Corbett, Brooke, and Link from school, and yeah, we've all been friends for a while, and I've been following them. I've been following you guys since like the start of the podcast. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
glad
for sure.
to be on today
Yeah,
for
and
the
we're
special episode.
we're probably gonna bring you on for a few other episodes because we have so many stories regarding anime and and we've also watched so many shows like at the same time and like it's just like when you've experienced things like that together, it feels wrong to not have all the pieces of the puzzle there.
For sure, and
Um,
definitely today's episode is probably gonna have
yeah,
a good share of stories, if you know what I mean.
yeah, and of course, my bad for not introducing you guys again, but we have Corbett and Brooke here as well today,
Hello.
as
As
usual.
always, yep.
Yeah. So yeah, today the topic is going to be particularly interesting one. We're going to be talking about sort of real life, cringy, weird, funny situations revolving around anime and like kind of when you meet someone, kind of like think about the first time you went up to someone and asked them if they watched anime, hoping that like they would say yes and not say no and think you're weird, and extend that into a 1 hour episode. And that's what today is going to be. So it's basically just going to be a collection of our stories from high school, college, just everything. Just all these stories we have that are like just like cringe moments.
Cringe
Um,
compilation.
It's
yeah, it's
gonna
like
be a
this is
real cringer.
this is the cringe compilation episode. So we have a few
Story
stories lined up.
Of the life of a weeb in the real world, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we're also like the brunt end. We're either part of the cringe or we are the cringe. You know what I mean? Like, there's no in
Yeah, it's
between.
true.
Yeah,
Less publicly cringe though.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's
like
true.
I feel like most of these stories, like as we've discussed a few of them beforehand, and like they're all basically like us just being like, "Damn, you really took it too far, huh?"
Yeah.
Or just like other random like memes.
It's not like the typical sort of like
Yeah.
anime cringe moment. It's like
Oh,
the
I can, I,
Yeah.
like,
wow, I'm
I,
gonna
here's an
remember that for a
example,
while.
actually. In my band in high school, in the jazz band, we had this member who played the bass guitar, and I honestly don't remember what happened, but I think like somebody, like their stand fell over in the middle of playing
know
or
this.
something, and everybody stops, right? And before the conductor could even say anything, the guy shouts from the back, "Wow, this is such an anime moment! Oh my god!"
I remember we clowned on that guy that like our entire senior year. We refer to everything as an anime moment. Wait, do you remember that, Hammy?
I think so.
Like I remember because because our lockers are right next to like the band room.
Oh my
And so every time he would
Oh,
walk
yes.
out, he would wear a
that.
My Hero Academia shirt.
That
Yeah.
I
And-
remember that. That is so cringe. I don't
Yeah.
know how. You know, this is exactly why they need to bring back bullying in high school. Like, if you
We let people
wear
get
an
away with
anime
that.
shirt, no, two things: bring back uniforms and bring back bullying people for wearing anime clothes in high school. That is just
So
Holy
basically,
shit.
much.
replace anime clothes with actual anime clothes, and
Yes.
Exactly.
Uniforms
There you
are
go.
real
Yeah.
anime clothes. So if you're gonna dress like a weeb, you might as well do it properly.
yeah.
Do it
You know
with
what I'm
style,
saying?
you know?
At least do
True.
it in the least cringe way
True.
possible. Because if you're gonna yell at the back of the class, "Wow, what a real anime moment!" Like, please stop. Like, that's just so
Yeah.
bad.
It's funny because
But anyway.
the nobody even responded to him. Like we just kind of had an awkward laugh, and then the conductor was like, "Okay, be more careful with your stand next time," or something like that. And this like restarted, and the guy was just like, "Oh, okay." Started dooting on the bass or something, but
Yeah. Anyway, we have a few stories lined up for you guys, and Brooke has one story in particular here. So if you want to tell us
mean,
that one.
it's not really like a particular story, but I guess like me and Link can just go over some stories from the beginning of college orientation,
Yeah.
talking.
I mean,
You know,
I guess I can tell mine. It's like I know that like it was the first. I think it was actually the first day that we got to meet people. Because like like most kind of frosh weeks, it's like it's basically just no classes the first week, or at least for most of the first week, and you just do activities in like groups with people in your faculty, or maybe in the entire university. I guess it depends, but um, for me, I was matched on like a team with a bunch of other people, and one of the guys, I mean, I don't want to like judge or anything, but he definitely looked like the type of guy who would watch anime. And it was like, oh, maybe I can make a friend out of this person, right? Like I was feeling pretty lonely. I had just moved out to a new city. I didn't really know too many people other than Brooke and a few other people from school, from high school. And yeah, so I decided to go up to him, and I sort of just bit the bullet, and I asked him the question, "Hey, do you watch anime?" It was completely out of the blue. I mean, we talked about other stuff first, but like I basically just completely asked him straight up with no real reason to believe that that he did, and he was like, "Yeah," and I remember just a bit of context for the story. Like a few weeks beforehand, I was asking Brooke. We were just talking about like what anime, if you've watched it, it makes you a weeb, you know?
mhm.
And he distinctively answered. Brooke answered Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yeah. If
He
you've
said,
seen Legend of Galactic Heroes,
yeah,
you are that weeb. Like you're in
yeah,
it.
like
Like you're like the cultured classic. Like you are that guy. So
yeah. And so I asked this guy, yeah, you watch anime? He's like, yeah, I do. I was like, oh, sick. So we're just talking about random stuff, some really big shows and stuff. And he didn't really seem too fond of the big shows I was bringing up that I really liked, like kind of mainstream shows, to be honest. Like I was talking about Hunter x Hunter and some other kind of bigger shonens, as well as some small shows too. But like the guy like kind of seemed like unimpressed. Like he seemed like he wished that I had brought up something more to that conversation. And so I asked him what his favorite show was when I started to feel that kind of weird vibe. And he was like, "Oh, Legend of the Galactic Heroes." And I was like, "Bruh." I was like, I thought back. I had my flashback to that moment where Brooke told me, "Yeah, so that's the anime that if you've seen it, you are that weeb." And I was just like, "Damn, I can't be friends with this guy." I was like, it's just not gonna work. Like,
yeah,
like,
nobody here has seen Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Just to
yeah,
say,
it's just
like,
too.
No.
We are like very far in. We are deep into the. All of us are very far into the
Into the
rabbit
rabbit
hole
hole,
of
yeah.
anime, but like, damn, there's always someone deeper.
I'm just kind of afraid to touch it. Like it's like I don't want to ruin. I feel like you have to be in the right mindset. You know, like you
Yeah.
have to be ready to take that step to the next level.
The
Basically,
imagery I got in my head, Link, when you said that, it's like just the guy walking into the room. It's like, huh, pathetic. Pushes up his glass. He's like,
Yeah.
Legend of the
Yeah.
Galactic Heroes.
No, literally.
He was waiting for that one.
The only other
waiting.
times I've ever spoken to that guy, other than the orientation week, was when I texted him a few months later, asking him where because we were on like different like academic streams, like we had work and school at different times,
Mhm.
and I had asked him like where he was staying, because he mentioned to me that he could only ever live alone and stuff like that. And I want to know more options for places like kind of like different types of apartments and stuff. And so I asked him about where he was living, to get information about that type of apartment. And he responded to me telling me that he was watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes in his single apartment where no one could watch him, I guess. But
Such
yeah,
refined taste can only be
Yeah.
experienced in the solo
Just-
environment. Legend
Yeah,
of the
he's-
Galactic Heroes is the greatest
he
anime
actually-
of all time.
the legend says that he decorated his entire apartment so that it like created the perfect ambience and the perfect like vibe. Just enjoy Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
just the right amount of anime figurines, just the right amount of
Yeah.
posters on the walls,
Just the right characters.
the,
Like it's
the
just
precise waifu on his body pillow, selected, hand chosen for this specific occasion.
yeah.
He has a collection of body pillows, but they're all just
Jeez.
waifus from Legends of the Galactic Heroes.
But yeah, that's just like kind of like a funny thing that happened in my first week of college before it all started, and I was like, damn, wow.
I mean, college is like such a big step, like from high school, that like
Yeah.
you sort of like it's like in like a game when you unlock like a new area, and like there's
Mm.
so many more different characters, and so like the amount of cool people also increases, and the amount of cringers also increases.
Yeah.
So like your
Exponential
probability
cringe.
of
God.
running into a cringer becomes that much higher, and so you
Yeah,
gotta you gotta really be careful.
And every college or university is an extra cringer.
Indeed. Oh my god. Sometimes they form societies.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment,
Well,
though. We got that.
Yeah,
We gotta
wait.
save that one for a little
we
later.
gotta
Wait, Brute,
save
Brute,
that one for later.
you had some sort of like
Mhm.
college orientation story too, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, not really, but like it just goes back to like you meet all different kinds of anime fans out there, and they all
Yeah.
yeah, right. And so like I was doing the same thing. Like obviously I'm new to this place. I don't really know anybody, so
Mm.
like I'm just gonna throw anime out there as like a way to try to connect to people. And so I met this one guy in my class, right? And he was like, "Oh yeah, for sure. Like anime is pretty cool and all." And I was like, "Oh damn,
Yeah.
let's go."
Let's
And
go.
so like we started talking, right? And like I think this wasn't even orientation. This was like the first week of class. And
Mm.
like we were just walking around exploring the campus and everything. And
Yeah.
like basically hard it was hard to find out that but like this guy's actually a manga fan, not an actual anime fan. So
Damn.
yeah. So I was like,
That's
"Damn."
actually real depression because like it's
like-
okay if you watch manga and read anime, but when you talk to a
You
manga
watch
fan about
manga
anime,
and read anime.
yeah, you know what I meant, buddy. But yeah, it's okay if you read manga and watch anime as well, and obviously it's okay to just read manga as well. Like I'm not hating on those people. Sorry, Hammy. But but like it's so difficult to like strike up the conversation if you haven't read it and you've only watched it because like obviously the major plot points and stuff are the same, but it feels so different.
Yeah, so that's basically what happened. I was like, "Hey, I'm rewatching My Hero. Like,
Yeah.
let's talk about that." And he's like, "Oh, damn. I'm like, I'm caught up to the manga, so like, I kind of know everything that happens." And I was like, "Damn, wasn't it sick in like season 3 when he did that thing?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I guess that did happen." I didn't really get that far in the anime though, so like, I really don't know. But like,
What happens in season 3? Where does that get to? It's like that one question that just kills you.
yeah. And he's like, "Oh, did
Let's
you
go.
guys get to the part where like insert spoiler here?" And I was like,
Like, no, not really, but cool.
and he's
See,
like,
I'm like in the manga community especially, so I read a lot of manga.
"Mhm."
Yeah,
And
this guy.
especially in like very big mangas, like I'm talking about like the shonen big three right now, which is like the Attack on Titan manga readers, the My Hero Academia manga readers.
Yeah.
These guys are like elitists when it comes to like their community because they are so possessive over the content of what's in the manga, and they will like they assume that it's good just because it came out before the anime. And so their presumptions are like already assigned before anything
Holy
else
shit.
comes out. So like
Br-
if you ever speak to a manga only fan, just turn around and decide not to speak to them
Brute.
because it
Yeah.
is just bad.
That's exactly like what you were saying last week in your origin story, where like when you first started getting into anime, you felt like you needed to watch like the classics because like the community felt so gated back then.
Yeah.
Whereas like they were so elite about like yeah, like you have to watch these shows and you know meet a certain list of conditions to be considered a real anime fan.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's just funny. Yeah.
I don't know, man. And then like he started talking about like these manga that like are like manga exclusive. There's no anime for them. I was like, fuck, man. So much for this conversation. So we ended up just talking about like linear algebra or something. We actually got more out of that conversation than our conversation about anime. So
Yeah, fair enough. That kind of sucks.
yeah. And
Yeah,
then,
you always meet like
Algebra.
you always meet like these individuals like
eventually,
that.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, they basically just like they just make you not like what you like. Like sometimes you meet people and they just make you kind of like hate liking anime and wishing that you didn't have to associate with the community in a sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god. This like
Yeah.
me and Corbin have like so much to say about that.
Yeah, like I know that
Let's
in high
go.
school, like this is a really short story, but in high school there was like a shit show of an anime club that had formed for like less than half a year. Like in
Yeah.
our full 4 years there, like you'd expect at some point there would have been some sort of anime club or something that formed, and or even if it was really low key and that was like stable, but like it never happened. And then when finally someone did, he was like this. He was younger than us, I think we were in senior year or in 11th grade.
We
But
would have been in 11th, I think.
11th, I think. Yeah.
I think we were in 11th grade. Yeah, and there was an anime club, and they were putting up these like degenerate posters with like waifus. Like they weren't like not safe for work. They were safe for work, but like they were just like really degenerate. Because like in a school of like of like not weebs, like you don't want to be like posting a bunch of posters of anime girls all over the wall saying, "Miss your waifu? Come to anime club."
It was a top.
And-
It was a top cringer moment. Like
Yeah, it was
bad.
actually it was a real anime moment.
Yeah, and so obviously nobody who actually watched anime wanted to associate with that, except if you were just like the lowest of low. You were just the bottom girl. Like
I
basically had
remember.
no shame at all.
It was shameless. It was
Yeah,
shameless.
none of us ever went there because we had some sort of like self respect.
Had a bit of dignity.
Like, yeah, but then like I remember one of our friends, him and his other friend, like they decided to like kind of raid it one day because like no one actually knew what went on in anime club. It was just like the super low key thing, that you sometimes saw a bunch of anime posters around the school advertising, and so they decided to go in, right, and the way that they described the story, like it was so bad. Like they walked in and they decided to watch some show together, and it was like on YouTube. They weren't even using like an actually good anime streaming site. Like they were literally watching like some random dub on YouTube or something. I don't remember what show they were watching, but that detail is not even important because what ended up happening is that one of the guys ordered KFC. He ordered some fried chicken, and he had a big bucket, right? And he was the leader of Anime Club, by the way. The same guy would later sing Naruto openings at the student council karaoke events. But anyway, so he would be sitting in the back with his big bucket of fried chicken, and he'd be munching on that while the anime is playing. And since my friend and his friend had raided the club, they wanted to sort of like do something or like instigate something, but they also didn't want to get in trouble. So they convinced this other guy, they convinced this other guy to like basically like start some sort of problem, and he decided to steal his fried chicken. So he went up to the guy and he's like, "Oh, can I have a piece?" And he was like, "No." And he's like, "Please, man, can I have a piece?" And like he tried to like get him to give him a piece, and he said no. So he just took one, right, without getting permission. He just stole it. And then the guy like threw his bucket of chicken on the ground and started chasing after the guy. And then they started like jumping over desks and doing parkour in this classroom that they had gotten permission to use. And then like the fried chicken was all over the classroom. People were rushing to it to eat it off the floor because they were hungry. Like it was a fucking war zone, bro. It became a battle royale Fortnite match. And all in the background, there's probably some anime opening playing or something.
Like it was starts playing in the background.
Yeah, yeah. It was just a shit show. And by the end, there was like chicken skin all over the classroom. There was pieces of actual chicken everywhere. The bucket was in pieces. There was probably like a guy. Yeah, grease covered grease on the projector screen. Like it was just horrible. And then what happened was that the teacher who was like supposed to supervise them but wasn't actually there because they technically were supposed to be like responsible and like not need actual supervision 24/7. He walked in and he saw this, and my friends didn't want to get caught, so they jumped out the window of the school and they left. And so the only people who got caught were the leader and like a few other people who were like degenerates in the first place.
Let's go.
And the guy the teacher disbanded Anime Club. He said, "Yeah, you guys clearly, it was like literally one of the first meetings. Clearly, you guys can't hold your ground and like actually just like watch anime in peace and eat your lunches." So Anime Club is disbanded, and Anime Club was banned for the rest of, well, I guess technically until we graduated, and probably still.
I don't think it ever came back.
Yeah, it never came back. So
I mean, that didn't really stop us, though, right? Like
that didn't stop us. I mean, we had our kind of own group of anime friends, but like we weren't fucking degenerates. Well, at least not that bad.
We had a it wasn't the anime club, but
Yeah,
we had the Japanese club, which
Yeah,
was
that's true.
culture. It
Which
was
was, like-
refined culture.
Yeah, that was basically Anime Club.
No.
that was
Yeah.
basically a collection.
What kind
And
of?
Brooke was like the instructor. We were
I
like, in theory learning
actually
stuff.
taught people real Japanese because
Yeah, it was a legit course.
It was instructed degeneracy.
Yeah, and if you
Yes.
cared to pay attention to what I was saying, then you would have learned something. But
I still have the notes somewhere. They're
That's,
somewhere. I wrote
that's
them
freaking cap. There's no way.
down. No. I do have them. They're probably
The
under my bed or
sacred
somewhere.
text.
The sacred text under my
Did
bed.
you say under your bed?
Yeah.
Degeneracy stored away under your bed. Like, okay, I don't want to call Japanese language degeneracy because it's actually a really beautiful language.
Sacred
when
texts, actually.
yeah,
Thank you.
like unassociated with anime.
Yeah, but anyways, it was kind of the anime club. Like some of the members that like I remember one day somebody asked me, the same guy who's like the anime moment guy. He was like, "Hey, can you give us your best ora ora?" And I'm like, "What the?"
I remember that.
And I did it. I did it real loud, and I'm just thinking back, like people walking through the hallway were probably thinking, "What the fuck is going on in there?" I thought this was Japanese club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that club was like
It
it
wa-
definitely was not near. I don't want to say it was a failure because it still was a really fun like thing.
I thought it was
Like,
fun,
that-
even if
yeah,
people
so-
was
weren't learning
good.
Japanese.
Yeah,
Everybody was laughing,
even though
the
there
whole
wasn't as
time,
much
so-
learning. Yeah, so I still think it was like a success of a club in the sense of like what a club is supposed to do, but like
Like,
it
was
definitely
enough-
at the very least it wasn't as bad as the anime club.
I was
That's at
just-
least
I was
the first.
surprised with how many people showed up on the first day. Like
Oh yeah,
there was like
a lot of people we didn't expect
yeah,
showed up too.
Honestly, it was like
Different crowd.
30 plus people in this one classroom for Japanese club. And I was
No,
like,
but remember our intro video was a banger.
oh yeah,
Oh,
we had
yeah.
Corbett edit it for us. I basically just did the ad. I
Oh,
did the
yeah.
ad all in Japanese with
Oh,
English
yeah.
subtitles.
And
Wait,
and-
wasn't
and
wasn't the song
remember
playing in the
making that.
background that
I
lo-fi
picked
song?
the music? Yeah, I
Yeah.
picked the music.
What's the name of that song?
It was by an artist called Rude. It was called
Yeah, Light? No,
No, it was called oh my god, I'm gonna search this up real
it goes
quick.
barrel, 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 barrel.
Yeah,
Yeah. We sound like idiots, but I know exactly what you're talking
Eternal
about.
Youth. Eternal
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Holy, that was so good.
It was a banger.
Oh my
In
god, we
front
have
of that, it was just like minasan konnichiwa.
Dude, I remember
Holy.
because like they would play that on like the YouTube announcements every single day,
Yeah.
and like since we were all in most of each other's classes, like we'd be sitting in our classes, and like I remember you were like a tad nervous because you were worried that like all the people in the class would just like look at you and you'd just
You'd be like, wow, that's cringe.
Yeah, like just like be like, damn, that's cringe. But like it seemed like it got pretty good like rep. Like I never hear anyone shitting on Jap Club.
Yeah. It was a legitimately alright
And
trailer, and
I definitely heard people shitting on Anime Club. So
We
Oh,
were
yeah.
more
Yeah,
or
it's
less
'cause it was cringe.
respectable.
yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
Holy.
Holy.
And then there was, I knew like actually like learning was like off the table when with the fucking quiz.
Oh lord.
Like 4 weeks into the club or something, he's like, "All right, guys, so we're almost done the hiragana chart. So I think it's time to schedule our first quiz." Literally half the class. Oh my god! Please, no quiz, man. Please,
Please, bro.
I was one of those people.
because like the club like first day was like 30 people, right? But like after that it was like 10 people, like maybe like 2 or 3 of which actually wanted to learn, and then everyone else was just like all my friends coming for the memes. So
Look.
That was really fun though. Oh my
Bro,
so
god.
so like
At the
each
end of
week
the
it was
day-
like, okay, next week for sure we're gonna have the quiz, so be there. And then like I'd either wouldn't be able to run the class because I'd have like band or whatever obligation that had to bring me elsewhere, or like
Or
it was
sometimes
just,
you'd
like,
be late.
sometimes I'd be late. Like sometimes they were like it was actually it didn't run more than it actually ran, but like yeah, the quiz and it got indefinitely delayed until like eventually it just got canceled. So
Just no quiz.
Yeah.
Today we're
And now
still
there's
waiting
no
for that
Jap
quiz.
Club and there's no quiz.
Yeah, just no quiz.
Yeah.
but anyways, moving on from that, I actually have another story about cringe weebs interacting with me in my daily life, and this one comes from when I took weekend Japanese school. I had to do that, just to get ready for actually going to Japan and stuff. And so you'd go,
Mm.
and basically pretty much everybody in the class was just a degenerate weeb trying to figure out Japanese so they didn't have to turn on the subtitles. And
Yeah. Cringe.
yeah, and basically, the story is about someone from the class named Adam, and Adam sure made an impression of himself on the first day when everyone was talking about like their introductions and stuff, right? We got to Adam, and he's like, "Yeah, so my name is Adam, and I'm a really big fan of anime, JoJo's in particular, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. If you hadn't heard about it, it's great. But that's kind of my motivation for learning Japanese. I really just want to be able to experience it from the source, not have to wait for the translations for the manga and stuff. So
Wow.
But please, I am Adam, but I'd really much rather that you called me Adam Coon. So
Oh my god.
Cringe.
so yeah, yeah, and so that was day one Adam Coon, and like I don't really know why, but like for some reason he took a liking to me. So he would always come and talk to me at the beginning of class before it started each day. And so like I remember like distinctly like so like first or second week or something, I was like, "Oh, Adam, how's it going?" And he's like, "Dude, it's Adam Coon. Get it right, please." Yeah,
It's like getting someone's
Um,
pronouns wrong in 2020. It's just
exactly.
yo,
Dude is dead serious. Like,
come on,
it's
man.
Adam Coon.
except it's like
Except like
literally 0.5 like percent as serious.
like if you get someone's pronouns wrong in 2020, you expect them to be upset. But if you get the
If
coon
you
after
call him
someone's name,
Adam
you're
instead of Adam
bad.
Coon, like fuck, man, you might as well just drop out of the class because
You're in a Western country.
You're getting
you demand
canceled.
someone.
Jeez.
That's cringe.
How
Yeah.
dare you forget the coon? Put some respect on this man's name.
Put some respect on the name.
Did he do it? Did he ever do anything like particularly cringe?
No, well, actually, yeah, like, so he would always just talk
Oh.
about JoJo when he came up to me, right? And he'd just be like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, did you check out like the latest chapter release for Part 7? It went absolutely insane." And like, Dirty Deeds Done Cheap unlocked his super persona and was like, "Whoa, stands, man! Isn't that wacky?" And I'm just like,
Damn.
"Okay, I don't
Isn't
even know
that
what the fuck he's
bizarre?
talking about because I didn't even know what the fuck a JoJo was at this point."
A JoJo.
And
Love
like
JoJo.
he would just go on. He get absolutely enraptured by it, and like I'd try to talk about literally anything else, and he'd be like, "Oh my god, that's just like when Speedwagon met Joestar in the first episode." And I remember one day, right? He was like really deep in the conversation because he was like, "Oh my god, did you hear about the time skip? Holy fuck, the time skip!" And I was like, "Okay, man." And he was just going on and on about that, and class was about to start, and so the teacher was like, "All right, everybody, time to get to your seats." And Adam just kept talking to me, and I was like, "Yo, Adam, like you should sit down."
Holy.
And Adam's like, no, I gotta finish. And then like the teacher like interrupts me. He's like, "Adam, please take your seat." And he turned to the teacher's like, "Let me just finish talking about JoJo's for a second." And he went on for JoJo's for like another 2 sentences. And
Oh my god.
the teacher just watching him
That's
like in
cringe.
awe.
Holy.
And then he took his seat.
I would have beat his ass.
And like I felt bad because he was talking to me, and it almost seemed like I was holding him up or something.
Yeah, it made it seem like you were responsible.
Dude was just
That's all. That
running
always
his
sucks.
mouth
I
about
feel like that
JoJo.
always happens. That's what happens when you're too nice to like.
I know.
Like there are some people who just like don't really know when to stop talking. I'm
wish
maybe one of those people.
I wish I had the guts to just be like, "Adam, shut
Yeah.
up. I don't care about JoJo."
Yeah,
And I
it's just
actually
like,
don't
bro,
even like
please, man.
talking to you.
Even okay, you know what? It's like for a lot of those cases, like I don't hate it enough so that like I won't let you talk to me like, just like at any given time. But like when it's like the teacher is saying please shut up and go to your seat, or like it's literally the middle of a test or stuff like that, and you're like trying to whisper into my ear, it's like, bro, please, man, I don't want to get in trouble.
That's just like you should have just been like, "Listen, Adam, don't even put the coon at the end."
Ooh,
I don't
the
care.
disrespect.
I don't care about your filthy JoJo's.
The funniest shit too is that like I haven't seen all of JoJo's. I've seen like some of it, but like I know that like I think some of you have. I
I had an
Corbett
aversion
has.
I'm
to
on part
JoJo's
5.
for
Yeah.
years because of that. I was like, I don't want anything to do with JoJo's. JoJo's can fuck off. That shit's
Yeah, but like now that like I have a lot more interest in JoJo's, even though I haven't seen all of it, like I feel like some of those conversations might actually be like not as bad, and like it's kind of funny if you think about it because like maybe he's just like further down the timeline of like just like
Dude's further in the JoJo
yeah
rabbit hole.
in the JoJo, like like I feel like because JoJo is really good, and
Mhm.
I haven't sat down and watched the entire thing yet, but I've seen a lot of it, and like now if I were to sit down with Adam Coon, I don't know if I'd get along with him as like as
As
like
a
his
person,
personality and
yeah.
the fact that he wants me to call him Adam Coon, but like the conversations themselves about JoJo is like maybe one day we're actually just gonna be having those Adam Coon conversations on this show. Oh
Well,
man.
I respect JoJo's as a show, and I like it. I like watching it, but I don't think I could talk about JoJo's for more than like 10 seconds with anyone.
Yeah,
And,
I
like,
mean,
I just
the
don't think it's the
JoJo's community
type
is
of
pretty
show you
bad.
can do that. Yeah.
definitely not literally interrupting somebody and like your teacher and holding
Yeah.
class up for a
Telling
minute
your
to talk
teacher
about
to-
JoJo's.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. But yeah, sometimes people like this just like fall down rabbit holes, and then they start to like find like-minded people, and they create entire groups and societies. And I want to talk about the waifu societies.
Oh
Let's
no.
and how you guys
go.
at your guys' school there because basically, just to give you guys a bit of context, Corbett and Hammy go to the same college, and me and Brute go to the same college, and
Mhm.
our school, I'm sure we have our own well, I'm not just sure, I'm very, very confident, and I've seen it firsthand that we have a lot of degenerates at my school as well. But they kind of brought it to a new level. I'll let you guys talk about that though, because I don't know
Oh.
what details.
There's a saga to be told.
Okay.
It'll be written for ages.
So start with the prologue.
Well, Sure,
Okay.
all right.
So
Wait,
give
how
us a
far
summary.
back? How
Give us a
far back
summary.
do
this
you
is
know?
the humble beginnings of the waifu society at our school.
Mhm.
So it essentially starts with me and Corbett are essentially just walking around campus one day, and we're heading to the calf because we're hungry, obviously. And we're just gonna go grab a bite to eat. Uh, as we're standing in line, I guess, like unconspicuously, just chilling. I think either me or Corbett happened to turn our heads to the post board,
I think
which
it was on the way
it
to
was
the
yeah,
calf.
it might have been on the way to the calf, and there's a post board, so we just like grazed by it, like glance by it, as we're heading there, just like a normal university student does. And
Mhm.
one poster especially really catches our eye, and it's a full lewd,
Full color,
full color,
full lewd NSFW poster.
4K.
4K
4K.
NSFW um picture of an anime waifu.
It might have been 02. That was one of them at least. I
That
know
was one
for
of them,
fact.
but this one in particular was just a random a girl in a dress with her titties were out. Like this was like this was
That was
just like
crazy.
full cringe. You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
was just a
You're like,
hard
oh
lewd. Like, this
no.
was
anime
hard
club
lewd.
posters to like the end, like the next level. This is just like
Yikes.
the uni version
And there were
of your baby
three
ass high
words
school
on that
postings.
poster. There were 3 words on that poster.
Yeah, the university and then Waifu Society.
University, waifu, society, and a Discord link.
There was no like
That's-
room or anything. It's just a Discord link.
And that was it.
No, because it wasn't recognized as a
Oh
club
yeah,
yet.
of course, right?
Yeah, it wasn't
that would not
recognized
be
It
yet.
wasn't
endorsed for
recognized
sure.
as a club yet.
Yet.
24 hours from those 24 hours after those club posters went up, if you went to the official university website for where all the clubs were managed, you would be able to search up the Waifu Society, and you would find
It was
a
there, yeah.
official web page for the Waifu Society.
Sorry guys, we just had to cut there because of an unexpected interruption. But Hammy was saying that. What were you saying? For 24 hours after the.
There was an official website where you could search up the club name Waifu Society, and this basically started the whole roller coaster of the Reddit threads, and
The Reddit threads.
all the feminists on campus essentially going off on the Waifu Society about how this was offensive and derogatory to women. They assumed that the Waifu Society was a meme and simply a joke.
Yeah.
Little did they know that these weebs were some special snowflakes, and
No, the head weeb is oh
Yeah, I
I've
know.
never met another
Yeah.
man like him. Oh my
Corbett, you should
lord.
explain them. You got this one.
So, where do I even start? Other than the fact that people started like taking down the posters to like collect them, that was funny. And the
Holy
dude who was
shit.
making them, the guy who wanted to start the club, was like, "Guys, please stop taking the posters. These are expensive to print because they were full color too." Anyway, and then eventually he started selling the posters too. That was funny. Anyway, so this guy, where do I even begin? So basically, you could tell that he was the president of the Waifu Society before you spoke to him. Like you could tell from his aura, from the way he looked, and the 02 stickers on his laptop.
Oh no.
This guy, oh, so his laptop stickers. I mentioned they were 02, but I don't think I mentioned that they were full lewd.
Oh.
Like his laptop was full of lewd stickers on the back of it.
Yikes.
And this guy's origin story is that apparently, while he was growing up, his parents never stopped him from falling further into the degenerate, like, shithole that he fell into. Like, this guy is literally insane. He was somehow able to get his own dorm, like, just for himself. It was like a half-size dorm.
Oh, what?
And he showed a picture of it, and the wall is just covered in pinups. The entire room is covered in lewd pinups. It's absolutely insane.
Did he have body pillows and shit
Holy.
too?
Yeah, and he wears he has like a 02 sweater, and like
Oh,
obviously
no.
his favorite waifu 02,
Yeah.
and that's like the icon of the waifu society too. And and he has shirts and he has sweaters and he wears them in public, and he's the greasiest looking dude.
God.
Holy, you could probably
Helpless man.
smell him halfway across campus. Oh my
no.
god. Absolute mad lad. He's like, you could probably talk to him for 3 seconds before passing out from the smell of this lad. Oh, crazy.
Corbett, there was also he also released a statement after the feminists on campus came for him, right?
Oh, no.
I don't even remember that part.
Okay, so essentially what happened is the feminists on campus, or a group of women, a group of people, I should say, they came and they tried to shut down the Carlton Wife Society as it was they deemed it inappropriate for obvious reasons.
Yeah, honestly,
For
true.
pretty obvious reasons.
Yeah, true.
The extreme lewd
so-
posters, yeah.
Yeah, and so the university dissociated with them, obviously, because they removed them from the university website. But
Temporarily.
but was it temporary? I'm pretty sure it's permanent, right?
If you check the Reddit, it is still officially on the sidebar as
That is
one of the
true. That is true.
societies. Yeah, it is
True.
literally one of these societies on the sidebar.
It
so
is
Wow.
actually, it is still remains to this day one of the most prominent and dominant societies at our universities.
So it's still going strong right now.
It is still
Yeah,
going strong.
I checked the Discord. Like they post daily still. Like their posts
Oh my
from
God.
Oh yeah,
today.
there are still daily posts.
And is there king still? You know.
Yeah,
The king still sits
his
Yes,
atop
role-
sitting in his throne.
his role as anime titty expert.
Oh man.
And
Yeah, see, this is the kind of thing
God.
that,
Oh,
that
Lord.
that I mentioned earlier that just makes me want to not like anime. Like when we were when me, Baruch and Corbett were thinking about starting this podcast, we were like, damn, like that's cool and all. It'd be really fun, but anime. And he's he's this people like this guy are single-handedly the reason why I had that second thought.
like,
Oh my
we
God,
get a bad
it
rep
hurts.
because other cringers just cannot keep it in their pants.
Cringers.
Like it's
They
really
Dude.
bad.
They smell the furthest away, so like you can't even
Yeah.
slip by.
No, that's so bad. Yeah, and like, like, do you guys have other things about the Waifu Society? Because this leads pretty well into the other stories I wanted to mention.
So to wrap it up, the people that tried shutting him down, as soon as he dissociated, he released a statement.
Yeah.
This is like the most infamous statement that essentially took the club to astronomical levels. Like after this, the Waifu Society like peaked essentially. He released a statement where he essentially defined what he was doing as number one, appropriate for university.
Yikes.
He
Okay.
also defined it as an expression of art.
Okay.
And he said that the
Okay.
depictions of the cartoons were in no way, shape or form meant to be derogatory towards women.
Damn.
And he released this statement fully, like he was dead serious. This man,
It hurts.
it was
hurts.
it was like the most painful piece of text to read, because you were like, in your head, you thought, yeah, this guy is definitely not getting laid till he's 90. Like, this guy is a virgin for life, and
Yeah,
I feel sorry for him.
I don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
honestly.
Jeez. But yeah, like
People were saying that his stickers make them uncomfortable in
it,
class.
it's kind of
'Cause,
like
I mean, yeah, it's fair.
yeah, it's kind of like sad because like I don't want to talk too much about like the stigmatization of anime and stuff like that, but like situations like the story I'm about to, well, I guess we're all about to share because this happened to all of us, are like basically because of people like this, right? So like, how did these even start? We were in one of our high school classes all together, and we had created a Discord for the class, because most of the people in the class use Discord, and it was just an easy way for everyone to. It was kind of like just like the class group chat, and yeah, and then one day, I don't remember why, but we were just spamming anime gifs, because like we use Discord a lot, right? And like a lot of the and like I mentioned some of the people use Discord, but some of the people didn't. And in fact, quite a few of the people in the class weren't that familiar with like a lot of like the mechanics of how Discord works and the fact that you could send gifs and stuff like that.
I believe it was a newly added feature when we.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think gifs were actually new at the time. So on Discord, so then like we would just we would just shitpost all the time. Like someone would say something, and we would just all collectively send like anime gifs or anything. It didn't have to be anime related, just like something to troll that person. What I don't remember what led up to this, but I don't think it even mattered because basically at one point Hammy sent a gift from High School DxD, and if you've seen the show, then or you watched the episode about our anime origin stories, you know what kind of show High School DxD is. It was basically just a scene where there was two girls fighting over the main protagonist in their underwear, and
So cringe.
Yeah, so cringe.
Yeah.
And well, I don't really remember what happened after that because I know that this main thing revolved around like Hammy.
So okay, so I was spamming High School DxD gifts for a while, and essentially this was like the top tier degenerate gift that I was spamming, right?
Yeah,
So within the context of the chat, everyone understood sort of what I was doing. I was just memeing, shit posting, just
yeah,
throwing a little bit of like I was exposing my own degeneracy to a bit, I would say. Like, I'm not an actual degenerate if you actually know me, but like I have like like my own like degeneracy sort of like side to me. Like there's like a part of me
yeah.
that's like allocated to
But it's a
degeneracy.
meme. It's a
But like
meme.
it was a meme. In that
Yeah.
context, it was a meme. It was a joke. Everyone in the chat sort of understood that, right?
Mm.
The second anyone took that out of context, it would have looked really bad for me. And that's essentially what happened, where
Yeah.
someone in the chat took that post and sent it to someone else who I knew, and this was like out of context, and this someone else was like they were like someone who's like wouldn't understand the joke because they are like
Yeah.
not familiar with anime whatsoever. And so the following message I get from that person is a "you're disgusting" and a period at the end. So now I'm
Oh
thinking,
no.
now
The
I'm thinking,
period.
yikes. It's
What have I
kinda,
done?
it's not looking good for me right now. So at this point, I'm kind of mauled because
Yeah. Dude's stressing.
I was stressing because this person, to not name them, they were kind of like a big deal at the time. So
Yeah.
I was like hard stressing, but like shit was about to go down.
It
Basically,
it basically created this whole like funny kind of funny but like also like kind of serious to a degree like vibe in the class where it was like Hammy
Hammy is a degenerate.
yeah, Hammy's
then-
a degenerate,
Oh,
but then like
man.
not everyone like was aware, so it was sort of like who can you really say about it? Who can you really tell about it? What can like what's going on? And then there's also like this person that called him disgusting, and then Baruch and I think Corbett, but mainly Baruch, basically had to come to his rescue.
Yeah, I helped a little bit too.
Yeah, it's like people in the class started shitting on like anime as an entire genre just because of that one thing,
That
like as if
one
DxD
gif.
represented the
Oh,
entire
Lord.
thing. It was so bad, and it became this whole thing, and then it became even more of like a shit post when like like
Baruch
we
had to come in and defend
yeah,
my
Yeah,
Baruch had to
honor.
come in.
I was like, I don't know. I was just like leading the cavalry. I was just like, guys, this is sexism. And I basically went on and I was like, are you kidding? Dudes do not have the ability to watch this kind of stuff in their own personal time. And you guys are out here watching XYZ kind of degenerate shows yourselves and criticizing us for this? Come on, you're better than this. And
Yeah.
I just basically went on and it started a civil war in the chat that went on for a while.
Yeah, and it legit created like an entire like it's in the history books basically like
Yeah.
It goes down.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore, but
It
it's
goes down as probably one of the biggest beefs I've had with the person who sent me the "you're disgusting" period at the end, because like that like got taken out of context, and I was just like, bruh, like I felt like personally offended, because like I was like,
it was just a shit
yeah,
post.
it was a shit post. Like
Yeah.
why you gotta end my life like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's kind of tough sometimes because it's what I mentioned at the very beginning, right? I mentioned that this episode is going to be about how sort of like this episode is going to encapsulate the feeling that you're feeling when you are asking someone if they watch anime, to see if you guys can sort of like talk about some shows or something, you know, see if you're kind of like minded in any way. It's just like whatever, trying to share something. And you sort of like are a bit nervous or a bit anxious that like the person will think that it's gross, or that like maybe they do watch anime but like they don't watch certain types of anime, and then you'll bring up that type of anime. Like for example, a lot of like so many people have watched Ghibli films, and like they aren't like quote unquote weebs or anything like that, right? Like they just watch them as kids, or even, you know, not as kids, just they enjoyed the Ghibli films. They're classics. And but you know, they wouldn't watch High School DxD, and they would still think that High School DxD is like messed up. So
Yeah,
like,
like,
in cases like that, it's just kind of like yikes. But it's just so much worse when it's someone who doesn't watch anime at all, doesn't really have a particular respect for the genre, and is just completely disappointed when they associate you with that. So that was a big rip for Hammy, but I think it all worked out in the end, kind of.
it did.
Sort of.
It was resolved.
Yeah.
The beef was resolved, but
Yeah.
the outlying effect was like me realizing the outsider perspective to situations like this, where it's like, as you cannot expose yourself as
Yeah.
even a bit of a degenerate to like people who
Yeah.
don't understand the context and like the actual genre of sort of like the degenerate side of anime. Because if you really think about this, and like really take like a second to think about this, DxD is like the sort of like the induction to degeneracy in the
it's
weeb
Yeah.
probably
community.
the worst thing a normie can experience for the first time before
Yeah.
becoming a weeb.
Exactly.
And it's so sad because it's such a good show without all of the degeneracy in it.
Like, if you, yeah, just plot wise, it's actually like structurally sound in its plot, and it's entertaining that way.
Like
But
if we were to break it down in like an English class lecture or essay or something, it would actually be a really good show in that sense.
Like, I know,
So-
Link, you recently rewatched it, right? And
Yeah, I mentioned that
right,
on a past episode.
right, and you like, what would you say, like, what was
No,
your
like, yeah,
overall experience like going through it
I've
again?
said this before and I'll say it again. It's actually a good show. Now, obviously, the fan service and all that, you know, it is what it is. If
It's
you
a
don't like it, you don't
plus.
have to watch it. Maybe it depends what you like. Maybe it depends what you like, and if like I know that like for me personally, fan service can sometimes be annoying because like sometimes it's funny because it's like cringe and like really like surreal, but like sometimes it's just annoying and excessive, and sometimes that's a thing in High School DxD. But like I'm so driven by the plot, and also I'm a bit partial to it because of somehow it's part of my origin story, so so I do have a bit
Just
of
be like
bias to it.
that.
But yeah, like that show is actually good. It's a shame that all that happened because of it. But to be fair, if I didn't know anything about anime really, and someone sent me that GIF, and then they told me that they watched that show, I would start to question what the fuck they're watching for sure.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
that's
Fair
fair.
enough.
True.
But
like,
I don't know if I would message them, "You are disgusting," period.
Yeah, maybe that's a little too much.
Yeah. Yeah, we have one more story before we wrap up. And this is kind of similar. It has some of the same people from the last story. uh,
Uh,
I think we were in the library once in kind of like a
Yes,
free
yeah.
period, and we convinced one of our friends to watch ReZero. As we had all just some of us had all just watched it like probably like a few months prior, and we were like, dude, just please watch it, yeah, you know, like whatever. And so he watched it, and then one day we were in the library with him, in our free period during school, and he started talking about it, and we were just talking about the show, whatever, just having a good time, and then probably arguing about who best waifu is, and then one of the people in our class walks up to us, and they're like a friend, but like not super close, right? And they walk up to us and like, "What are you guys talking about?" And we're like, "Oh, it's just a show that we're watching." And like they knew that we watched anime, right? I think this was before the DxD incident, though.
I think
This
so,
is
yeah.
definitely before.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
then the DxD probably wouldn't have surprised them, to be honest.
Definitely.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, like, you know, what is it about? Whatever." They were asking a few questions, and the guy that we convinced to watch it, like, I guess, I don't know, but kind of just wanted to give more information, and we were sort of like holding back because, you know, ReZero is not particularly like NSFW or anything like that, but you know, there's also like maid girls, sorry, that look like children and that are technically love interests. So you know,
Well, Rem and Rem are like 19, aren't they?
yeah, but they don't look 19.
I always associated them as 19. I don't know. Maybe
Really?
that's just me. Yeah, I never really.
Okay,
considered them younger
okay,
than that.
fair enough. But like, they're not lollies, but like, they look really young and they're small and like it's not like Uzaki. It's like they look young. But
Once
anyway,
again, taking it from the perspective of outsiders,
right?
to someone,
Yeah,
to people who don't watch
yeah,
anime,
exactly.
Rem and Rem will
Oh
look
yeah,
like
yeah.
like
They
a
look like
young,
maybe
yeah.
14.
Yeah,
14,
they look
15.
like
Okay, I
young
get you. I
teens,
get
yeah.
you.
So then like, and they're also wearing maid costumes, which is
Which is weird to any normie.
yeah, which is just kind of like already weird. And so like the dude pulls up pictures and shows this person that asked about the questions and is like openly showing all these pictures and like just exposing us basically. And like, I mean, we didn't really care because it's not that big of a deal, and it's not like this person's opinion mattered that much or anything like that. But like, it was just so sad. And then one of the other people in our class pulled up, and then the person who we just showed the stuff to was explaining what the fuck just happened, and then they were just disappointed, like, man, what are these guys watching? And like, it was kind of like the Hammy's degenerate vibe for like 2 days in the class, except for all of us. Is like Brooke, Link, Corbett, Hammy, all kind of degenerate, low key. It's just like shit like that just gets you.
Just like, it's just like the secondhand embarrassment. Not even secondhand embarrassment. It's just firsthand embarrassment. You're like, I know I'm not a terrible person, but these guys think I'm a terrible person. I'm embarrassed that they think I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
you can't help but feel kind of bad when like, you know, even if you don't feel like it's a real reason to like be looked down upon or anything, it's just like, damn, that I could have avoided that.
That is tough.
This whole
Yeah.
thing could have just never happened. My life would be better.
Yeah. Man, that's all the stories I have. I mean, we could probably definitely think for more, but that's all that I can think of.
Yeah.
Everything on the spot, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other things you guys want to add before we wrap up?
Well, I just want to say that thank you guys for having me on the podcast.
Of course.
Mhm.
Appreciate it. You know, just yeah, I'll
Yeah.
Look forward to
Let-
maybe coming on for other episodes. Hopefully.
Yeah, like we said, we're probably going to bring Hammy on at some point in the future, and probably multiple times, just because he's like, I'd say he's a pretty integral part of like our kind of like anime friend group. I don't want to say anime friend group because it's like not a friend group of just people who watch
It's
anime,
not
but
the
like,
waifu society, please, guys.
yeah, it's not the waifu society.
It's not the waifu society.
But it's like within our friend group, the people who watch anime and who like discuss anime stuff. So like, definitely he has a lot to say, and plus he has like a different perspective too, since he reads a lot of manga and spoils a lot of it too. But yeah. But yeah, anyway, so if you enjoyed the episode, please feel free to leave a like. If you didn't like it, you can dislike it too, and we'll take that. Leave a comment if you want, and also follow us on our social media. Right now, we're putting a lot of focus on Twitter. We've been following a lot of different content creators, people in the community, all sorts of people, and right now I think we have about 150 followers, which is actually pretty solid. But we're not getting a lot of activity, obviously, because like, you know, Twitter, people just kind of follow and then forget. So yeah, if you want to know what we're doing, give us suggestions, anything like that, feel free to follow us on our social media at Real Talk Anime on Instagram, and the Twitter I just mentioned is at Real_Talk_Anime. And we'll see you guys next week for the next episode. Thank you. Actually, in 2 weeks. But yeah,
Well
thank you.
baited.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Let's see ya.